Good evening, good evening, good evening, folks. Um, have a wonderful show tonight. Going to talk about some very, very, very important things about our club, our state of our club, and where we're going. Right now, we're currently on a 3-game losing streak and might be four. It's a strong chance of being four, but it is not all that bad. And I'm going to explain why. And I have a wonderful panel to talk about it is not all that bad. Trust the process. Trust the process. And let's get back to our original expectations. But before we talk into that, Stel, how are you feeling, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Busy week. I'm a bit tired, but um, I was really relaxed after losing to Aston Villa. It's pretty chilled. Had a pretty calm post-match interview with JP. It's got 4,000 views, that interview, so I think a lot of fans must have resonated with it. I'm guessing. Just look, you gotta be calm right now and not hit the panic button. Otherwise, you just don't understand what's going on. So, but we'll get into it. But I'm good, Mari. I'm good. Good to see you. Good to see Maz. It's been a while.
Yep.
Yeah. Maz, how are you doing? Big
Yeah,
up.
all good. All good. Weather's changed in the UK. It's getting colder. The nights are getting shorter or longer, I should say. Wake up in the dark, leave work in the dark. So it's that time of year. But all good.
Spurs are in the dark. Levy's
Spurs
in
in
the
the
dark.
dark. Yeah, yeah.
And midfield's in the dark. The defense is in the
Dark.
dark.
Yeah. Literally.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh my
And
gosh.
so let's big up a couple of people who are already in the chat. El Said, trusting our manager is not the problem. 100% agree. It's our chairman who is and will always be the problem. Levy out. I 100% agree. Big up El Said. The disabled team, big up. He said, congratulations on your 150th episode, everyone at Tottenham Wave. Guys, go see the show yesterday. It was wonderful. Really, really good. It was nostalgic, going back, throwback to the originals.
Old
Um,
school.
Old school. Sending all our love. Can I ask everyone in the chat to hit the like, yes, and subscribe if you're new. It really does help. Thank you. Yes, please. Big up disabled team. And as we say, please hit the like, subscribe, and hit the notification bells. Big Tone in the house. That's my dog. He says, big up, guys. Scott, it's been back these 2 weeks. It's back to normal. Scott is back. He says, big up. Mari, it's good to have you back.
Jesus
Chris,
Christ.
Bordeaux Spurs, big up, big up. Bordeaux is on my list. I've been saying it. I want to go there. Wine country in France. I want to go. Mark, big up, non supporter. He says, hello, people. Mark Cousins, big up. Big up, Mark. He says, big up to all. Yeah, big up to you, Mark. Man, we haven't streamed in a while. I think it was the Coov and Bobby K show. So last time we were streaming together. Ryan, say, leave me out, leave me out, leave me out. Still your fraud. You got the midfield wrong.
Hell no. Hold on. Right. Everybody got the midfield wrong against Villa. There's not one fan who said Brian Hill's going to start left, Kulu's going to go in the 10, Johnson's going to go out right. We're going to start with Lo Celso and Bentancur, and we're going to drop Dyer and Højbjerg. Nobody said that. Hell no, are you putting that on me? This is a Maz move. This is the kind of thing Maz does. This is
Mark says, I trust Ange, but there's only so much a manager can do. I agree. What I mean by that, Marty, is that the club is cursed. Well, these injuries, I mean, can you blame? I mean, yeah, I cannot see how we break the curse. It's the only way for us to succeed. And man, you should be watching the game. Arsenal the group. Your Havertz, man, scoring goals for Germany and scoring goals for Arsenal.
Kai Havertz is rubbish. Absolute crap. The guy scored a goal against Brentford. Chicken Royale scored against Brentford this season. I just want to remind everybody, right? You scored one little goal against Brentford. Yeah, Havertz. We scored two against Brentford. We scored two. One of them was Chicken Royale that scored it.
Their whole front line scored tonight. Martinelli, Havertz, Saka, Odegaard. Who am I missing? Their whole front line, all different people. I know it's led. I know it's led.
Listen, Arsenal are playing well. They've only got 2 players injured. We've got 11. Why would I cry when we've got 11 injuries, man? When you were finishing 8th with Arteta for 2 years in your process, you told us to trust the process. Now we're in our process. Cry. How does that make sense? Like, this is what I mean. Do you know what? I can't wait to have this chat tonight. I was going to be calm, but no, I'm going to unleash. I'm going to tear everyone apart.
I mean, 5-0 is 5-0. Is it still 5-0 or is it 6-0? It's just
wait till they play Real Madrid. Wait till they play Bayern Munich. Some real football
they get
clubs.
slapped up, and then we'll see.
Yeah, wait till Harry Kane steps foot in the Emirates. Not these easy group games they've got. The easiest group in the competition, right? Let them get excited.
Big up, Keith. In odd way, do you think this amount of injuries when Levy knows we will get 3 players in January? That's the question we're going to talk about. Got the real from right. I said Bentancur, Lo Celso, Cooley at the 10. I got receipts.
All right, you're one fan out of how many Spurs fans you've got around the world? Brian, you're the only one who called it. The only one.
Frankfurt Gunnar. Oh man, is the game over? 5-0. The elephant is on top of.
Well done on your November Champions League trophy. Well done. Lift it up so we can see it. Yeah, lift up that Champions League November Cup. Show it to us.
Damn, big up. I've been telling everyone Kulu is good as 10 for months. I'm happy Edge tried.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah, Dan did say that. Dan, you're all right. You did say that. And we'll get some other BB is in the house. Big up. Video complete. Sofane is also in the house. Havertz is so overrated, but scored tonight. Mark Linwood. Oh, big up. Must be new. He said, I trust the manager as I've passed the past 5 or so, but he's not backed by the others. Don't matters who's in there. It's not a rebuild. It's a build because we have not built anything.
Yeah, I agree.
To rebuild. Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus said Arsenal's using all the luck up tonight. Hurricane so bottler in the biggest moments. Oh, he
doesn't bottle it against Arsenal. He's the top scorer in North London derbies. Doesn't bottle against you, and he'll show it again when you play Bayern. Don't come running here when Bayern slap you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Jay Vader is in the house. Styles, you think the high press running affecting the injury? And I've heard this. I think this is bollocks. I think it's BS because we only get 1 game a week. Someone's show they were saying this. Maybe the training is being too hard. 1 game a week. One game.
Mari, Maz, remind me. Were our players moaning under Conte that the training was too much? Weren't they moaning that it was too extreme for them under Conte?
Oh, these players will moan. If we continue losing, I'm sure they'll start moaning at some point.
Yeah. Didn't they moan under Pochettino towards the end that it was too demanding?
Yeah.
Another Gunnar is here. Big up East London Gunnar. He says we have more than 2 players injury. I'm gonna just say
you're starting 2 centre-backs and your main midfielder out. We've got Madison and Van Romero. Take out Declan Rice, take out Saliba, and take out, Gabriel. Then come back and talk this crap.
Yeah.
Absolute crap you're speaking.
I mean, no team in the Premier League, maybe Chelsea can say they have the injuries. Like
And where are Chelsea, Murray? And where are Chelsea with those injuries? Where are they in the league?
Yeah, they're tough. I mean, you couldn't make this up. The injuries that we're getting, it's just it's crazy. Oh, big up Jason. Jason's in the house. Levy has left Edge, put bench players that would have moved on, and because money is first, progress is second on the pitch. That's why Levy, with Levy, we are being held back. Oh yeah, 100.
And Ange is still getting these rejects to play good football. He's still getting the donkeys to play football. Like,
yeah,
it's unbelievable. No other manager could. No other
No,
manager could do it.
I get those injuries, but those injuries are not.
Fabio's a fringe player. Fair is a fringe player. Smith Rowe, you've missed him for about a year. The only ones there that I would give you credit for is Timber and Partey. You're missing 2 proper starters. We're missing 6.
Yeah, Timber and Partey will be the 2 that's just.
Yeah, and come January, we'll theoretically lose about 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the AFCON.
People are saying, "Still stop crying." I'm answering your questions. This isn't the football terrace where Spurs fans get rinsed or other channels where Spurs fans bow down. I'm kicking your asses. You're talking crap. I'm correcting you. You don't have a comeback. So when you don't have a comeback, Still's crying. Still this. No. Come back at me. I want it. Hey, what's your responses to what I'm saying? You don't have any. This is it.
Big up Lee. Big up Lee Smith. Big support of the channel. Big up.
I got there late, Lee. I didn't get there till late. I was rushing from football. Sorry, man.
Big up to him. So, Aston Villa. Maz, I thought that was that's including the Arsenal game, our best showing. Those 30 minutes, for me, I thought was one of our best, minus not finishing our dinner. I saw, once again, this is the vision, this is the type of team Ange wants to be able to have our team play. But yet again, the injury, which changed the game. For me, I know you were at the stadium still. When Bentancur went down, because he was bossing that midfield, and I felt like if Bentancur had played the rest of the game, and he might have came off maybe the 70th minute or whatsoever, but it really changed the game. And yes, we had our chances, but when he went down, it really hurt us. And then once again, we just ruled the day of missing our chances. Other than Sonny, I don't trust anybody in that front line to finish their dinner. Johnson, I am just, it's just, it was discouraging. Another positive, Lo Celso, finally, off the momentum, of Argentina, big victory over Brazil. He balled. He was able to come through. But once again, I'm more upset losing Bentancur than losing the game. Yes, I want the 3 points, so I am disappointed. But Bentancur being out, oh my goodness! And I told you, Stel, my midfield is Basuma, Madison, and Bentancur, with Sarr coming off the bench. And Bentancur showed the reason why against, with Uruguay, beating Argentina, he played great, came in, and you saw the Bentancur, you saw the talent that he has. And so, Stel, agree, disagree.
Murray, let Maz go first, because I spoke quite a bit at the start of the show. Maz is let Maz have a go.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed in the first half an hour of how we played. Quite surprised. I expected it because I think Ange wanted us to go all out attack more to protect the back line more. So the more we attack, the less work the back line's got to do. But what ultimately happened was every time they they countered or they went forward, you could just see the deficiencies in our defence, albeit Emerson made some good interceptions here and there, but his confidence on the ball, and the same with Davies, leaves a lot to be desired, especially when you compare them to Romero and VDV. When Bentancur going off is a massive blow for any team because of what a quality player he is. He was probably by far our best player in that half an hour. I thought you can just to see the quality just oozing off him, to be honest with you. But what is really concerning though is the fact that we get one player go off, and then the whole team changes and our performance change just from that one player. And it shows what a fine balance our team is in terms of its reliance on certain key players within that team to make things tick. I guess that's the consequence of not having a deep squad where you've got Maddison and Basuma not in there, and Romero and VDV, that spine of that team, being bare and causing any little deviance from the initial team and the tactics. It causes us big problems, and for me that was a really disappointing part, because Aston Villa I didn't think looked that good, and I think they were there for the taking, and the volume of chances we created was we should have buried them, to be honest with you. Players that really stood out for me, not in a good way, was Brian Hill. He was, for me, he seemed very one-footed, and I didn't think he was that one-footed in the past. So that was really evident when I saw him. I think he lacked a lot of fitness, which is flabbergasting to me, because all he does is train, right, and run around. So he should be match fit by now. And he was knackered after the 18th, 19th minute. He's pressing really slowed down. His head dropped a little bit as well when he messed up a few chances and passes. So I wasn't actually that impressed with Brian Hill, and I'm going to give props to Will here. He's right about him. I just don't think he's got it. He hasn't had many opportunities, but when he has had an opportunity, he's not taken that and shown what he can really do. And again, he's another player that constantly gets injured. On the flip side, Lo Celso, I thought he was really good until he got taken off. He looked really, really good. And you can see that if he gets more games and more minutes, that he'll be the player that we Stella and I more specifically thought he could be at the start of the season for us. So that's a real positive. Overall, I'm not down about us losing. I'm more down about the fact that we could see what would happen if we lose certain key players in our team, and it's tiring to be able to predict what's going to happen every single season with Spurs. And when you see it happening, and you want to get proved wrong, but when you get proved right, and it's negative, it's never a good feeling.
Actually, a quick question, Max, before we go to Stell. Big up, Michael. Big up. This is one of the criticism, and I kind of agree. As much as I'm enjoying Ange ball, however, I'm doubting him for not changing up tactically to win, because our plays aren't good enough and not giving youth a chance. But do I blame Levy for not buying depth? Now, I will change this. And big up to Saba for saying this. With these players, right? 90 minutes of rock and roll football, right? The only team I've only seen do this 90 minutes is Borussia Dortmund in their prime. Borussia Dortmund from the beginning to the end. Were our players gassed? This should he have changed maybe the 60th minute in the sense that our players
changed to what? Like, people say this, okay? Tactically changed to what? This is what I want to know. I've got my coach's hat on now. What?
Okay.
Michael Webb, Change to what? What is the tactical change you want Ange to make?
Because I would say that our players are not good enough to play that type of football for the whole game. Like they're gassed. I mean, and I'm talking
I
about
don't think it's a
I
fitness
don't think
issue,
VDV,
Mari.
I don't think it's VDV or Romero, but it's just being able to make a pragmatic change with some of these backup players, right? You know, can they really play this type of football for all of 90 minutes? And I'm not talking about BDV, Romero, some of the starters that were missing, Basuma. I'm talking more of now, like, I guess Villa, if we wanted to get some points, maybe could have changed it in the second half, because it looked like some of the players were gassed.
Change to what, Murray?
But yeah,
Change
no,
to
I
what?
agree with Stel because you can't adapt the tactics were different to the previous games. I think Ange has shown that he's willing to actually change things more than I thought he would, especially in terms of moving players around to adapt to the injuries that we've got. But there's different phases of play, right? And there's going to be phases where we're in control and out of control, and I don't think it's that they're gassed necessarily. I think it's just their quality doesn't allow them to be as consistent as the best players, or let's say our first 11 would be under those pressure situations and when the phases of play change. I if you, can you just bring that message back up, please, Maury?
For Michael, yeah.
Yeah. It's one thing I do want to touch upon is giving the youth a chance. I still think, I think Phillips is injured, but I still think that he would have been better served giving Phillips a chance rather than putting 4 left backs or four wing backs in a back 4 and hoping for the best. Because whilst yes, they are more senior players and they've got experience and they would probably do better, I think he would potentially learn more about where his current young players are at in terms of their abilities and whether they would step up to this situation than playing people like Emerson and Davies, where we sort of know what they can do and how they would ultimately let us down in the end. So I'm a bit torn on that one. I've argued vehemently against that. And this whole situation is Levy's doing, and the credit goes to Ange because he's doing much better than any of us ever expected. He's the situation is getting worse for him as the weeks go on. What do we want the guy to do? He's just not got the squad or the players.
Okay.
What I would want Ange to do is apply pressure to the director of football, Scott Munn and Levy, and say, you're either going to back me and get me the players I want, and if they don't do that, then I hope he's got the same backbone as what Conte had and Jose had and leave. Because I'm just fed up of seeing this cycle go over and over again. So that's the only thing I want from Ange.
I'll post this to Stel. You have people saying Ange tactically he hasn't gone against the greatest tacticians because he was in the Scottish League, the Australian League, the J League, and so on. Now he's in the Premier League where he's gonna have a chess game with Pep. Chess game against Klopp, and so on. And people are saying he has to somewhat change, has to have the ability to be pragmatic and change to be able to play this chess game with the other Premier League. And they have a point. This is the hardest group of managers that he's going to go against. I mean, it is a fact. But I mean, do they have a point?
No, they're stupid. They're all stupid, a lot of them. And I want to go on every single show and educate the lot of them, right? Nothing winds me up more at the moment, Mari, than the bullshit I'm hearing on Ange. It's nonsensical what people are saying, right? And I get Arsenal and Chelsea fans coming in the comments, cry more, you're this, you're that. I don't mind that. They're trying to wind us up and banter us. That's what fans do. We do it to them as well. I get it. But if we're going to have an actual, genuine, serious conversation on football, tactics, strategy, the situation, the environment that we're operating in, we had 3 years of managers sitting back, pragmatic, defending, and everyone moaned and complained and said, we don't care about trophies. We just want to see good football. That was the argument. Okay. Now you're getting good football. We want pragmatic. We want more defensive. We want. So what the hell do you people want, man? Like, which way do you want this? Okay. But let's say there's got to be some kind of middle ground. Let's go there. We want attacking but pragmatic at certain times as well. Fine. The lies that are being said is unbelievable, right? Let's trail this back and then let's go forward and then I'll expose all the lies. Last season we finished eighth place with the squad that we had and with Harry Kane. At the start of this season, we lost Harry Kane and we signed Mickey van der Ven. Udogie came to Spurs. We signed him a year ago, but he started actually playing for us. So Van der Ven, Udogie, Vicario, Maddison, Solomon, right? We signed these players. So this 8th place squad with Kane is now without Kane and these 5 new players. These new players, with some existing talent that we had, that was the levels were raised because we now put good players around them, got us into the top 4, first, second. We then lost all the new signings except for the goalie. We lost a lot of them, all of them. So what are we? If you're 8th with the squad you had and Kane, and then you basically take the 8th place team, add some new players and without Kane, and you go first, what happens if you take the new players out of that equation? You're back to what? 8th. So of course we're losing every week. This is the squad that we were last season. The difference being Vicario's in goal. This is last season's squad without Harry Kane. What do you expect? What does any fan with any brain cell think we're going to do? And we said it, but no one listens. We said it all season long. We're 2 injuries away from, God help us if we lose Maddison. Oh my God, if we lose Son. If we lose Van der Ven, Jesus Christ. We were saying it all season, but we didn't lose them. We lost Perisic, Solomon, Basuma, Van der Ven, Maddison, Pape Sarr, now Bentancur. We've lost Romero to suspensions. Udogie got suspended. It's crazy what happened to us. This is the 8th place Spurs from last season. So anyone that wants to come in on this and say, oh, you've lost 3 in a row, you're talking out your ass. Look at the situation and put some context on it. That said, let's just talk about tactics. Ange plays rock and roll football. Okay. So what do fans want him to do? They want him to drop deeper. What happens when you drop deeper? You invite pressure on. What happens to teams when you invite pressure on? They're going to get into you. You're inviting them onto you. What happens when you invite teams onto you when you don't have your best centre-backs and you don't have a holding mid? We've lost our best 2 holding mids. We don't have our best 2 centre-backs. There's no decent cover. So what happens if you drop back, invite pressure on with weak players? Shall I tell you what happens? Wolverhampton away. Because we didn't play on the halfway line against Wolves. We were a mess. And they put pressure on us. They could have easily have scored a lot more goals. So what Ange is doing is saying, do you know what? If I sit deep, we're fucked. If I sit deep, I can't play my expansive football, which is what Conte and Mourinho got criticised for. So his approach is, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to just go for it, okay? And here's the thing. In coaching, there's something called a trade-off. When you make a decision, you always trade something off. A classic example, if you're 1-0 down in the cup final and you take off defenders and you bring on strikers, you're doing it because you want to get a goal. But what's the trade-off? Your defense is more vulnerable now to counterattacks. That's the trade-off. That's what you're prepared to trade off. What Ange is doing is, his trade-off is, I'm going to go for it, but the trade-off is, if we don't get rewards of scoring goals, we are going to probably run out of a bit of steam because of the amount of effort we're putting into it. So when we're not scoring the goals and we're creating them, like we did against Chelsea, like we did against Aston Villa, like we did against Luton. When we don't get the goals, we're going to be susceptible to problems on the other end. That's the trade-off. Our issue isn't tactics. Our issue isn't he needs to adapt. Our issue is we're not scoring the unbelievable chances that we're creating. Richarlison should have had a hat-trick against Luton. We should have been 3-4-0 up, or maybe 3-1 up against Aston Villa. Yeah. That's the problem. So the trade-off becomes overbalanced in the other way. And this is what's happening to us right now. If we sit back, we're going to get punished. If we think we're going to sit deep for 20 minutes of the game and we're not going to get absolutely rinsed, guys, we don't have the players to do it. Against Luton, we kind of fell back quite deep in the game, didn't we? And we rode it. We rode it and we won 1-0. But only just Luton missed some gilt-edged chances. People need to put context on the situation and understand tactics only work if you have the players to deliver the tactic. We're just not taking our chances, man. Brennan Johnson should have scored. Son should have scored too. Kulu should have scored. Porro should have scored. Brian Hill should have scored. That's what's cost us. That's what.
Yeah,
that's
and I think and for me, it wasn't the fact that Bentancur went off. I was annoyed, and you could probably see it in the WhatsApps when we were talking during the game. I was annoyed after 20 minutes because I knew that if we didn't finish and take our chances early on and be a couple of goals up, then they're going to start attacking, and then they're going to come up against that, that back four, and they're going to score. I mean, they literally scored about 5 seconds after they kicked off again, and it was only by an inch or two that it wasn't, it was ruled offside.
Matt, the same fans, Murray, the same fans who are saying, "Oh, Ange is naive. He should have started Dyer because of his height. He can defend set pieces better." The same bums, and that's what they are, the same bums that are saying this last week said, "I don't ever want to see Dyer play for this club again. I don't ever want to see him in a Spurs shirt again." Now they're calling for Dyer. You absolute bums out there, man. Have a look at yourselves in the mirror about what you're saying, because you're flip-flopping. Do you know who's staying consistent? Ange. Ange is doing everything possible. Fans said, you can't keep playing a high line. After Chelsea, did we play a high line at Wolves? No. Fans said, we want to see Kulu in the 10. What did he do on the weekend? We don't want to see Dyer again. He dropped him. We want to see Brennan Johnson on the right. He did it. We want to see Lascelles and Bentancur. He did it. Ange is doing everything. The reality is, we just don't quite have the personnel yet. And you know what? When you run out of steam, do you know what you do when you run out of steam in the game, guys? You don't drop deep. You make substitutions. But Villa didn't have any injuries, so they can make quality subs. On our bench, we had 2 goalies, three kids, and 2 bums. We didn't have the subs. That's the reality of it. We are what we are, man. We don't have the squad.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. I mean, look, if you guys disagree, fair enough. We can all disagree or agree, whatever.
I agree. I agree.
I don't like the way certain fans are attacking Ange's tactics. I just think they're doing it just to have a dig at Spurs, or they don't know how to analyze what's really happening at the club at the moment. Bentancur goes off. There's no cover. There's no cover. He was the cover for the cover, and the cover's injured, and now Pape Sarr's out. So, what do you do? Højbjerg and Skip. Wasn't that last season's problem? Højbjerg and Skip.
Yeah, you brought up a point. Bentancur is out. Did this change the game? I said it earlier. I said once he got out, I was like, oh man, this is not good. Other than missing our chances, did this still change the game? Bentancur being out.
Yeah, it affected the balance because he was having a good game. Him and Lascelles were linking up brilliantly. And Bentancur's a quality player. He was our best midfielder last season before he got injured. So it did affect us because we just ran out of any quality to bring off the bench to play in that position. What annoyed me the most out of this is the fact that the medical team came on the pitch, they assessed him and they said play on. And then 5 minutes later, he broke down. Yeah. I want to know how much damage was done in those 5 minutes that he stayed on the pitch.
Our medical team is the worst. Ramiro said something about it and had to apologize. Our medical team, I've been saying for years, is not the best. someone else would say, why don't we ever use carts or a medical tray to cart our players off? We let our players, continue to play or walk on an injured ankle or knee. I just don't get it. We have to talk about this. We don't have to talk long about this. Me and Iggy, you can look at this at the stream. We were grilling Matty Cash. No, I meant that. Matty Trash. As you can see there, not even close to the ball. He took him out. This was a bad tackle. And I know it's not a red, but the FA, man, has to somewhat do something.
Mari, if Romero did that, he'd get a red.
Yeah, easily. And I will put March 9th. I will say this. On March 9th,
another free game
I
ban.
give him all Matty Trash. Matty Trash better be on witness protection program, because I give Romero permission, 100% permission to take him out. Our next 3 games after Villa are Fulham, Luton, and West Ham. We won't miss Romero those 3 games. All right? We won't miss Romero for these 3 games. But this was a reckless, horrible tackle. Maz.
Yes.
Yeah. Matty Cash's tackle on Bentancur.
Well, what can I say? I mean, there's nothing really for me to say on it. It was an unnecessary tackle. He should have. I would have personally punished him more than what he was, but I'm biased, and it's an absolute blow to us. He's Bentancur's mental state must be absolutely on the floor at the moment, spending all of that time 8 months out. I think Spurs. I think We Are Tottenham TV guys did a video, and they're saying that how there's a video on the Spurs YouTube where he was doing double training sessions to get back and all sorts of stuff, and he comes back and then he gets injured again. I mean, yeah, utter blow for us. And now we have to rely on as Sel said, the players that caused us the problems for the last few seasons again. And we have to rely on Sel's favourite player, Skip. So what are we going to do there?
And that's the 3rd player. Apparently he loves injured Spurs players. Højbjerg, Daugherty, and now Bentancur. So he has a history. Stel?
Who was that other player? Oh, blimey, what was his name? That English player who kept fouling our players.
What's the guy? There was one for Stoke. There was one for
he was a bald-headed chap.
What
was his name? Anyway, but yeah, it's
Adam used to be one. Used to foul our players hard. Adam for
Adam. That's it. Yeah.
Adam. Charlie Adams. Charlie Adams.
Charlie Adams. That's it. Yeah. And
Charlie Adams used to be one that notoriously, hit Kane, hit Bale, try to hurt our players. I'm like,
I was a little bit disappointed that one of our players didn't take him out as retribution. To be honest with you,
Eric Dyer, Maz, Davies. You think they're gonna do that? Their enforcer is. You saw the picture.
Lo Celso's got a little bit of a mean streak in him. He could have done something.
I reckon Daniel Levy's told the players, if any of you get another suspension, I'm literally taking your wages away. He's found something in the contracts where he can not pay them.
Literally, this is our only enforcer in our team. He's going to be the only one
He's going to
give a left tap Some TLC, some tender loving care to Cash. He is the only player. I don't
You know
trust
what?
John.
The thing that I heard, I think I was listening to, I think it was Ali Gold who said it, is that it's true in a way, is that Romero's actions for him getting suspended for 3 games has caused us a hell of a lot of issues in the last 3 games. I mean, we've lost 3 times, but it was almost ever since he got himself sent off that it's just been an absolute disaster since that point. I just wonder that whether or not he can keep a cool head in the future, because there's no point in him being brilliant for 10 games and then getting sent off and then causing issues later on in the season. You need your defenders to be effectively like Yang Vertonghen and Alderweireld, cool head, consistent, always in the top of their game.
Yeah. Oh, Scott, I've seen Twitter. I think a lot of people say they give Romero a free pass to do, and it's weird because I don't promote violence, but I do promote old school football. And you guys still them as old school football, you know that there was hell to pay. If you injured our player or you roughed up our players, I mean, there was hell to pay. And so I think a lot of fans will be like, wouldn't have a problem with that. So the topic of the show, I think it's time to bring it up, is trusting the Ange process and original expectations. And the reason why, let me remove this, talk about trusting the process is, and I want to preface this, right? I said this. We made Champions League with Conte. It was a blessing, but it was also a curse in a sense because of what happened later on and what Daniel Levy didn't do because of backing Conte and making the Champions League covered some things, some internal problems, some problems that we still kind of have within our club. The first 10 games, well, let me go back to the expectations. If you looked at most channels, right, including our channel and including myself, I said the goal for this year, number one, was to find an identity, to find a football philosophy. I didn't care if we finished 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. I wanted to find an identity. I wanted to see Ange build this team, build this philosophy, and slowly but surely we get rid of some of the dead wood and bring in players who could play his system. Right? We brought in VDV. We didn't know how he would turn out. Udogi was coming in. We didn't know how he was going to turn out. And then the best thing happened, right? We won the first 10 games, right? Not won the first 10 games, but we're undefeated the first 10 games. And what that did, right, that blessing became a curse because it changed everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people's expectation, right? There were some people who thought, we're going to win the league. I mean, I would say maybe 5%. like literally, there were people that were out there living the moment, waiting to win the league, right? And then if I questioned that, I was negative. You were negative. A couple of people, Saba was negative. Even box office, they said we were negative, right? But we were just saying that we're 1 or 2 injuries away from it all going backward, right? We forgot our expectations in the sense of now we have to qualify for Champions League. And for me, I've been consistent. I know you changed still, and I know Maz is going to get to it, but I've been consistent. I said, for me, success for me was to find an identity, a philosophy, to see progress. If we got Champions League, if we got Europa League, that was cherry on the cake. That was extra. For me, that was extra. So now that we have these injuries, these suspensions, right? I think now it has put us back to be grounded, to say, Ange, we're going to allow you to continue your process, right? Because people are like, oh, we're losing games. And part of it too, our rivals, right? Our rivals were also saying, oh, you guys are up there, so you guys think you'll win the league. But there were some people who took the bait. I didn't take the bait. I did not take the bait. I said, I want to see progress. I want to see progress. I want to see how things are going, right? Especially because we saw the name Daniel Levy, right? Daniel Levy is in the, and I think some of the fan base became Daniel Levy because you know how much he loves Champions League. All right, we're going to finish top 4. We want Champions League. Don't get me wrong. I would love for that to happen. But now I'm happy in the sense of now the pressure, the unfair pressure for some of the fans that expect Ange to deliver top 4 is unreasonable. His expectation was to implement his system. And now he's been doing it. He's implemented his system now without the pressure of top 4. Because of the injuries, because of the suspensions, because of the current state that we're in, I hope that pressure, right? And it's with his demeanor, I don't think it bothered him. But I'm talking about with the fan base, now we could enjoy the process, trust the process. We're only in year 1, right? He doesn't have to get Champions League. He doesn't even have to get Europa League. If he gets Conference League, I'm happy. I just want to see progress. Because last year, I was depressed. Now, I'm happy, despite the 3-game losing streak. That's going to be 4 games. But now, those 30 minutes I've seen against Aston Villa, for me, I'm happy. I'm confident. Okay, Ange is going to do his part. Now, of course, it's Daniel Levy, January, summer, if he's going to do his part. I know what Ange wants to bring to the table, and he's doing it. Now it's on Daniel Levy. You know, is he going to trust the process? And track record shows he hasn't been a full backing of anybody's process. So I throw it out to anybody. That was my monologue of trusting the process and going back to original expectations. So,
Mari, can I go first?
Yeah.
Big up to Michael, by the way, for joining us. I've watched many managers at Spurs, and they've always been let down by the chairman in the end. It always comes down to the same thing, right? I've never seen a Spurs manager come in and get a team playing the kind of football we're playing this quick. It's insane. That pre-season we were, well, what is this? This is going to take a year. Then the way we went to the Emirates, right? Arsenal were top of the league, doing well in the Champions League. We went to their backyard and took the game to them. What other team this season? Even Man City couldn't do it this season. Man City went to the Emirates. They couldn't do it. That's exactly what we did, right? We have, bar maybe 2 games, every game this season, there's no reason why Spurs couldn't have won it. Even 9 men against Chelsea, we still could have won that game. Crazy as it sounds, we could have actually won it, right? We have got a seriously good manager on our hands. And I'm not blowing hot air. I'm not overhyping. I think Ange Postecoglou, for me, what I've seen, the way he goes about his business, the way he's not scared to mix it up with the players and change positions and rotate, the way he just, this is how we're going to play, right? This is how it's going to go down. For me, I think he's the best manager we've had in my time as a Spurs fan, watching us since mid-90s till now. I think he's better than Poch. And I love Poch, by the way. I absolutely love Pochettino. Yeah, I'm telling you. Okay. I've never seen a manager do what this guy's doing. And what really blew my mind was the game on the weekend. When I saw Brian Hill written off, Lo Celso written off, Kulusevski going into the midfield, Ben Davies and Chicken were out centre back, a midfield of who was it? Benton, Lo Celso, and who else did he start? I forgot who he started. Who was that?
If you are talking about Villa game, then Kulusevski was in the midfield, right? The third one.
That's it, Kulu. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm looking at these players and I'm thinking, oh boy. But I was excited. So many Spurs fans were excited to see that lineup because we thought, oh no, Højbjerg, Skip, Dyer. And those 30 minutes, some of the football I saw, it was better than Pochball. I'm telling you, it was better than Pochball. I've never sat in the stadium and I've actually said, brilliant football, Tottenham, brilliant. I couldn't believe what I was watching, honestly, guys. And this isn't me overhyping. For me, we have to trust what he's doing. We have to trust this man, right? Arsene Wenger revolutionized Arsenal. He was brilliant in Japan. Oh, but Japan, the Asia League, what's that? Hello? Alex Ferguson won everything with Aberdeen in Scotland, came to Man United. But the Scottish League, oh, come on, Sir Alex Ferguson. Just because he's been brilliant in Asia and Scotland doesn't mean he doesn't know how to coach and how to manage, man. Yes, it's tougher here. And yes, this is the hardest league. But he took it to Man United. He took it to Arsenal. And even when we were down to 9 men, he said, fuck you, Chelsea. I'm going to try and take it to you as well. This guy is the real deal. And I pray to God Levy backs him because I don't see us finding a manager like this for a very, very long time. I think we've unearthed a gem. Maybe we've got lucky with this. Maybe Mike Dunn, what's his name? Scott Munn, whatever his name is. Maybe he found this guy and it's a stroke of luck. For me, the way the players are on board, the way the players give 100% to him, the way no matter what players he's got, he finds a way to get them to at least be in the game and to create chances and to go for it. I'm 100% sold. Totally. And even as a coach, when I watch little things on the pitch, I think, do you know what? We're so calm. We're so relaxed playing out from the back. We don't panic. Yes, we make mistakes. Like Porro nearly lost possession on the edge of the box against Villa. And you're thinking, oh no, don't do that. That's going to happen. It's part of the development. But these little mistakes slowly will become almost non-existent once he builds a squad. Once he has the players available for rotation. Once he has the goal scorers. Once he has more backup at defense. I honestly think, Maury, if this guy's back, every team in the league is going to shit themselves. I mean that. But he's got to be backed. But he has to be backed. And we say it with every manager, I know.
Yeah.
But this guy, Maz, the football for me at times, I'm just, wow. How has no one found this guy before? I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not. I share most of your enthusiasm for Ange, but I'm not going to say that I'm seeing better football than under peak Harry Redknapp or under peak Poch just yet. And that could be just because their teams maybe had better quality players in certain
100%.
individual
They had better players,
positions. That is the cause of that. I'm with you though. I mean, you could say the same thing for Jose. I was dying for Jose to be properly backed, and I thought we would go out and get some world-class players finally, because that type of a manager demands a certain type of player. That didn't happen. Then Conte comes in and I thought, oh, finally, a manager is going to come in and we're going to get a better type of player coming through the doors. And that never really happened. Albeit, you could say Romero and Porro have been, very good. I think we need to see more of Ange, and we need to see more of how he reacts to the Christmas period which we're coming into now, and what happens in the transfer windows this January and in the summer, because that will ultimately dictate how he is as a manager. Because for someone like Ange, I think, who knows exactly what he wants and what he demands from his players, if things don't start going his way and he doesn't see the same type of backing he's had in the past with the clubs he's been at, will he then change his philosophy to adapt to that? And then he's then not Ange anymore because he's adapting to the way Levy is. And that's what I'm worried about. But yeah, I share your optimism for him. I do think it's a bit too early to say he's like the best thing ever. Which I know you're not saying that in so many words still, but I just think we need to temper our expectations a little bit.
If we head on to Kane, tell me, and we
Oh
didn't have
yeah,
this injury crisis, right? We didn't have this injury crisis because all those managers had Kane. Poch had Kane, Conte. Yeah. Okay, Redknapp didn't, but he had Defoe, Keane, and Berbatov, right? Yeah. If Ange had that front line, and people that say, "Oh, this is Bielsa-ball," no, it's not Bielsa-ball. We had the second best defense in the league before the injuries. The second best. That's not Bielsa-ball, right? I honestly think if this guy gets the tools, the way we go about our business. But you're right though. Will he change if Levy molds him to be a Levy manager? You're right.
Because look at what
I can't argue that. I can't argue that. I can't.
Look at what Conte did in that first season. You know, we were like, wow, we're gonna be like next season if we carry on like this. We're gonna,
the life sucked out of him.
Yeah, and he literally had the life just sucked out of him. The same with Jose to a certain extent. You know, they just. If there was any club that can change these managers, it's Tottenham.
Then it doesn't matter who the manager is. Then
that's my point. And that's my point. And that's why I can't allow myself to get too enthused because I'm seeing the same patterns, albeit happening in slightly different ways, happening with Ange. And if we're going to go into City, right, and we're going to lose. Right, and then we still got tough games coming up after that. If we go on a 5-6 game losing streak, is he going to react the same? Because it's probably never happened to him before.
See, what makes me laugh though is when Pep Guardiola first came to the Premier League, one of the games was he lost 4-0 to Everton. We've not lost 4-0 to anyone. Maybe this weekend's the first one, right? But he lost 4-0 to Everton. Probably. He lost 4-0 to Everton, and every footballer, top pundit, journalist, YouTube self-acclaimed experts, all of them, you can't play this football in the Premier League. Tiki-taka, you can't do it in the Premier League. One season later, 1 year of being back, he gets the record number of points seen in the Premier League playing tiki-taka. This is why I'm saying, for me, these results, these performances, listen, I can see where he wants to take it. But you're spot on, Maz. You're spot on. If Levy tries to mold him to be a Levy manager, we're absolutely fucked beyond all recognition. It's, DEFCON 1 again. Yeah. But, here we go again. You're right. You can't argue it. I can't argue it.
Big up. Michael is in the house. Michael, you heard my monologue, trust in the process and expectations. Did your expectations for the season change, and are you trusting the process?
Yeah, hell yeah, I am. I tend to, whenever I approach something, I tend to have tempered expectation since the beginning. I think I'm just the type of a person who doesn't like going over the board to either side. So, before the season, I wasn't saying we are going to get relegated, but after 10 games unbeaten, I wasn't saying we are going to win the league, right? I always try to maintain this position that we are supposed to use this season to build, right? I think because of the failure of the previous season, we found ourselves for me at least, in a perfect circumstance to actually use this season to play, to learn how to play under a new manager, right? We don't have Europe. I'm not even counting the Carabao Cup exit, right? But we didn't have Europe, which means when all those teams that rival us for the same spot, right, from 1 to 7, all those teams have to go abroad and fight in Europe for their own trophies, right? we can use this period to learn how to play under our manager. And like in my mind, before the season started, this probably meant that we can have a smaller squad, right? Because like on paper, at least we are playing way less games than other teams, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, listen, injuries is something that you cannot really account for, but they just happen, right? Something just snaps in your body, and you pull your hamstring, you damage your ligaments, or someone else damages your ligaments, right? And it's not really something we can account for. Which it's a real shame, because what I saw this season was not us being title contenders with this football, not us being like up there with the best, right? Because I kind of knew that even though we were unbeaten for 10 games, there was still a lot of work to be done with this team, with learning this style of football, but also with getting rid of players, right? So for me, like for example, the difference between this season and the previous season was we had this guy, this little fucker called Antonio Conte, and my expectations before the season with Conte were that we are actually going to do something. We are going to attempt to win something, right? Because like the state of the squad with Kane, with Son, like with the results that we had in Conte's first season, I think I thought to myself that we learned his style of play, right? And Conte is a proven winner. He won the Premier League already, so my expectations were much different compared to this season, right? Last season, when we were losing games to, let's say, when we lost to Emirates away, right, or when we lost at Manchester United, I was fuming, because, like, for me, I had the expectation of we are going to actually like perform in the league, right? Whereas right now, this 10-game period that we had at the beginning of the season, for me, it was, I don't want to call it a fluke, but it was way overachieving, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, this team learning new football should not be able to not lose for 10 games straight, right? That's just something that's not logical when you look at it. It was kind of an anomaly, in my opinion, right? So right now, even though we lost 3 games on the spin, I still am of the opinion that we need to give this time, and we need to let it grow, right? So even if you lose to City, I don't mind if we actually stick to our principles and play our way, right? That's the main aim for me this season, right? So yes, to answer your, I know it's a long-winded answer, right? But yes, I trust the process. I've seen enough to understand that this will lead to I'm not even like, I'm not saying this will lead to greatness or this will lead to trophies, whatever, right? But this is like, for me, and keep in mind, I wasn't like following Tottenham when we had Poch. So for me, this is literally the best football I have seen this team play. And I am excited for the future, right? And also, like, quickly, one thing that I want to also add is that with Antonio Conte, we all had the feeling that if Levy like puts his hands in the pockets and actually like gives him what he wants, right, which was like Bastoni and all the others that we wanted for Conte, right, that this would like then lead to us winning something, right? Whereas with Ange, and I'm not saying this to like lower everyone's expectations or to like get off Levy's back, but I kind of have a feeling that we don't have to bring in top talent, proven players, because what I've seen from Ange with Lo Celso, with Hill, with Brennan Johnson, with some of the players that I wasn't excited about, or some of the players that I felt weren't good enough, I've seen some of the best football, as I said, right? So it kind of encourages me to look at the like future transfer windows, and when we buy a player that is not proven already in Europe, I am willing to give this player a chance. Whereas under Conte, it was never the case, right? If we bought Lloyd Kelly under Conte, I would have been like, what the fuck is that, right? Well, why are we wasting our time and money on Lloyd Kelly when Conte needs proven players, right? Whereas with Ange, I'm kind of like more open and willing to accept that we aren't going to.
Michael,
yeah. Oh,
right.
sorry.
I don't know if you're watching the whole show, right? But you've
No,
hit on something that see, you've hit on a subject that winds me up. Okay, not you winding me up. It's a subject. Fans are flip-flopping. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to see Dyer ever again. We then can't defend against set pieces. Why isn't Dyer starting? He's the only one with height. I'm like, oh my god, like. 2 years of I'm sick of low block, I'm sick of pragmatic football. Ange needs to learn to be more pragmatic. Why aren't we? I'm like, oh my god. And now you've hit another nail on the head. Before the season started, Spurs YouTubers, Spurs content creators, well, so many channels were saying Ange doesn't need the megastar players. Ange doesn't need the Bastonis and that. He operates differently. He fits the model of Tottenham and Levy perfectly because he can work better with players that maybe we've not heard of. So get used to players coming in we've not heard of. As soon as the name Lloyd Kelly comes up, those same YouTubers, oh, you don't win anything with these players. There's no ambition. Ange, if he wants him to, I'm actually broken with our fan base. The way they criticize this man when he's doing exactly what they asked for or said in a very short space of time, it's just a complete flip-flop. Like, I'm glad you mentioned Lloyd Kelly. Like, if we sign him, if Ange genuinely wants him, I'll be honest, I don't want Lloyd Kelly. For me, I'm like, really? But if it works for him and he somehow makes it work, I can't argue it, but he has to make it work though. If he does it though, right? That's
the point, right? If those names that we haven't heard of, they actually come here and don't work, then it's on Ange's head, right? And he actually said it himself, right? Every player that comes to our club, he agrees on, right? Whether that's true or not is a different case, right? But because he said it in a press conference, he told us that he takes the responsibility for every single transfer that comes, right? So if we bring Lloyd Kelly or that, for example, we've been looking at that Romanian center back from Genoa, Dragusin, I think his surname is, right? Have you ever heard of the guy? No, you haven't. Neither did I, right? But if he comes and works, brilliant, right? If it doesn't, then questions like it's not really that questions.
Mickey Van der Ven, Ricario, Udogie. I've never heard of any of them. Like Udogie, I've never heard of Udogie.
Haven't heard of it. But if we actually do our due diligence, right? And listen, this January will be like perfect for me to actually see what the fuck is going on at that club, right? It's right now, even though we have like Johan Lang, even though we have Scott Mann, we apparently are using the data model, right? We are preparing, according to journalists, we are preparing for that window, right? It's all just information that we can't really quantify, right? But this January will quantify it will show us what's actually going on, right? So yeah, it's a bit of a weird limbo state, in my opinion, where we can't really judge what's going on yet, right? I think this January will show us a lot, right? If we actually bring in like a player in the first 2 weeks of the window, then you know that maybe something is different. Maybe something is changing just a bit, right? Because like for the past 2 January windows, we waited until like the dying hours of the window to bring a player in, right? Which, by the way, 3 good transfers, Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Poro, right? For me, 3 good players that we brought in, but still, we wasted all that January period where we actually could have used those guys to maybe fight with Chelsea in the Carabao Cup semi-final with Conte, or maybe used Poro when we had issues in defense, right? I think if I remember correctly, we had issues in defense in January. There were like a bit like some injuries, right? And we couldn't use Poro because he wasn't there. So for me, like if we actually bring a player in the first week of the window, and whoever it is, right, this will show me that maybe Levy is not really pulling the strings that as much as he usually does, right? But it's all up in the air, right? We'll see.
Yeah, a couple comments that I highlighted. One was from Kurt, and I think that's probably the challenging thing is
Yeah, that's
because we trust Ange, and like I said, we trust what Ange brings to the table, the style of football, the philosophy, what he wants to do. The million dollar question is, do we trust Levy to go along with Ange step by step in building this team? And that's the million dollar question. We don't really know. And a couple of questions we brought up. All right, if he wants Lloyd Kelly, right? Is it really Ange's number one choice, or maybe it's fifth on the list? And Daniel Levy is saying, I like Lloyd Kelly too, right? He's English. He's not going to cost us much. So these are the questions that we have to really deal with in regards to the process. And we're going to use, I know it's our rivals, to give credit to the Cronkies. They've step by step have given Arteta all that he wanted. They've trusted the process, despite even finish eighth, fifth, and then second.
See,
You got to give credit to the Cronkies. I know some Arsenal people were in the chat. I don't know what their opinions of the Cronkies, but they gave Arteta the keys
Mari,
to build his team. And
yeah,
so we're hoping,
and that's the actual crux of it. And that's for me when you say trust the process. It's not do I trust our managers, because I've trusted all our managers with the exception of Nuno. I've trusted in their tactics and their abilities, because two of those managers had proven track records everywhere they went, right? But the process is not just the manager; it's everything around him as well. It's the medical teams and how they perform. It's the scouting department. It's then the contract and negotiations team that then brings in brings the players in over the line. It's then Levy then signing off and making the money available. And if any one of those levers fall short, then the whole process breaks. So you never quite know, is it actually the manager that's the problem, or is it the levers around him that's causing the problems? And that's the difficulty I've got with this question, because it's like, what are you trusting? Because I think we can all recognise that Ange is a really good manager, and is doing things that other managers haven't. But then you could, being the devil's advocate, you could also say, well, is he seeing the games out like a Conte would have or a Jose would have, and scrape those 1-0 wins when it looks like we could have gone on to lose in that respect. But it's I don't know. I just think we need to frame the question a bit differently. I'm not sure but the process isn't just Ange; it's everything else around him.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's the process is bigger than Ange, and like I said, I use Arsenal as an example. JP is in the house. JP.
Hey, what's up, guys? You alright?
Oh, doing good, doing good.
JP.
We're talking about the Ange process and trusting it. Now that we've maybe fallen back to reality. Now for me personally, top four is not important. The most important thing is planting seeds of the philosophy of the team, planting seeds of a team that we can build, and Ange doing what he can do. Because like I said, that's separate from what Levy could do, but what Ange can do. Are you trusting the process? And has your expectations now have been grounded? Because I'm not saying fourth is not out of the picture, but I don't think that should be the end all in regards to our success. determine our success. Because if we finish, like I said, 8th, and we know where our team is going, then for me, that is success.
I think you're right. What I would say is that I think kind of going back to our shows at the start of the season, I think I pretty much said, you know what, if we finish 8th, fine, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But what I want to be able to see is a little bit of foundation, a little bit of style, a little bit of philosophy on what we want to do. And if we see that throughout the season, I'll be comfortable with wherever we finish, right? But the bottom line is we do need to crack on. We do need to push on. Obviously, where Ange went 10 games unbeaten, and it allowed everybody to maybe change some of those expectations, or those starting expectations. But we all knew key players. We literally had a first 11, right? So without those key players, we all knew we would be in trouble. We all knew there was, like, you know, if Romero got injured or Van der Ven got injured, we'd end up in a sorry situation where Eric Dyer would be coming back, because that's the squad, right? That's the bare bones of what we've got. And I think that's kind of slowly rolling out now, isn't it? So I think, do you know what? Obviously, people's expectations will change, and it's fair to change. I think if suddenly we were doing really well, you can't help but get carried away, right? Because you want to be happy, you want to enjoy those moments as a fan, as opposed to always being on the side of, oh yeah, but it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong, which is fine for you to say and fine for you to think, but you also have to enjoy these times. And if people got carried away, they got carried away. But right now, reality kicks back in again, and we all think, and we all go back to, we kind of knew that was coming, right? But this is, and I hear you and see you comparing us to, obviously, Arsenal, and where Arsenal have, and they have got the backing, and you can't say that the Conkeys have not given the manager probably the players and the dosh that he's wanted, right? But he's what, 3 years into that? And how much and how much dough has he probably spent?
Oh, he spent a lot.
It's a big wad of cash, right?
Yeah, the Conkeys.
If we even spend, I don't know, half of that, I think Ange could get us in a really good place compared to where we are now. But we all know we need depth, right? We need more players. That's the bottom line, and it's kind of like D-Day is almost coming up, isn't it? The January window's coming. We need to see the fruits that these guys are saying they're laying. The other side is, I don't know, and this is where I'll ask your guys' opinion. Do you think it's a bit too early with Scott Munn coming in and getting that new director of football, and I think it was a technical director as well, right? In terms of, would they have had long enough now to be able to put some feelers out and be able to go and act quickly in that January transfer window? That's the only thing I'm a little bit skeptical about, and I'd ask you guys, what's your opinion?
My worry is there's too many chefs in the kitchen, to be honest. You got Scott Munn, you got the other guy. I don't know. Maybe Stel knows better than me, but my only worry is there too many chefs in the kitchen when transfer window is going to be coming around?
Dude,
that's
Vicario, Van der Ven, Maddison, Solomon, Brennan Johnson, they all came in the summer, and that was before we knew who the manager. We was there for like 3 weeks pre-season, and Harry Kane got sold. So in the space of 6-7 weeks, they got that done. So they've got 2 months to plan for January. For me, yes, they've got the time, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Like
100%.
First thing for me, like them doing all the data stuff, right? As maybe you know, guys, but I majored in data science, right? So I actually like know a bit about that. Maybe not from the footballing side, right? But trust me, if Johan Lange has been doing like data scouting and has knows how to assemble a team of data analysts and data scientists who will run all the algorithms for him, right? It doesn't take long. It's a really simple case, right? You just put in the numbers and the computer does everything for you, right? And so basically, like it's all about actually deciding on a target and actually knowing what you are pursuing in the window, right? And as Stel said, I think Johan Lange has been officially appointed, I think, at the end of August or beginning of September. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but he wasn't here during the summer window, right? I think he got appointed right after the summer window. So for me, if he knows what he's doing, and let's assume that he knows, right? We will see in January, right? But let's assume that he knows what he's doing. He worked at Villa, Copenhagen, etc., right? So if he knows what he's doing, then he should be ready for the January window, right? The issue is whether his job is his job, right? Deciding on the targets. The thing is, I have a feeling that it was something that always took the longest, was convincing Daniel Levy to spend the money on a player, right? I feel like, because if you actually look at it, right, with Kulusevski, Bentancur, Porro, and some other guys, especially in the winter windows, it's not that we haven't heard anything about majority of them, right, during the window. There had been links with, for example, we've been linked with Porro since the second week of the window, if my mind serves me correctly, right?
Yeah.
But the issue was actually getting the deal done, and I feel that's the big stumbling block that we have to overcome, right? And to your point, Mari, with the too many chefs, right, in the kitchen, it's really interesting because we don't really know what their roles actually are, right? And we don't really know how much Paratici is involved in all of this, right? Because if Paratici is not involved, or he just does this consultant role, right? And if Lange is actually the one responsible for finding players, right? Then it should work, right? It should work. It's Lange works with Ange. They decide on the targets, right? Then they go to. If we are to believe that what's Scott Mann's role is being the link between Daniel Levy and the director of football, right? So if it really works like this, then maybe in my opinion, it shouldn't be an issue, right? The issue is that we support Tottenham. It never works the simplest way, right? Yeah. It's always fucked up in some way, right? Always something just doesn't go as it should be, right? That's why I said this January window will tell us a lot about how we actually are approaching this Ange project, right?
100%. Before I go to Maz and JP, GMAC. First of all, I don't know if you just came on here. I think we've been positive. And matter of fact, we've said, and I've said, I don't care about finishing Champions League. For us, finishing 8th, going forward, progressive football, having identity, and I'm happy. So I don't think anybody's having a meltdown. It's just YouTube content. We have to discuss the issues. We can't.
We don't have to justify nothing to this. GMAC, go to the first 30 minutes of the show and listen to everything I said. Go listen to everything I said.
No one's having a meltdown. I
was having a go at every fan criticizing Ange.
Yeah, no one's having a meltdown. We're actually being positive, saying that.
Do you mean there is a mini meltdown on social media, but they're all kids. They're all 18-year-olds that just want to smoke, man, innit? Get me, fam. That lot. Give a shit. Let me land, bro. I forget that crowd.
Yeah, we're.
But I don't even know what they're talking about half the time.
Okay, if it's the chat, then I apologize. But on the panel here, I don't think anybody's been negative,
bro. That's the best.
But I want to give Maz his chance before we go to JP. I want to give Maz his chance because someone here did change their expectations, and we don't know where it is currently. We'll go to Maz, we'll throw the Maz because he wants to run that Stell. Go ahead.
Dear
Make
Stel.
yourself known. As the box
Well,
office said, make yourself known.
Dear Still.
dear Stel, let me tell you. So I
Okay, go on.
think that
Let you
it's
go.
very easy to get seduced, right, with winning games. Obviously, you know, that's what the whole point of football is to win the football game. But playing good football, and we've consistently said that you can't just want good football and that's it. And in addition to that is that if you do go on a good run and you're winning games and you're playing good football, you only have to look at what happened with the previous managers, not Conte or Jose, but let's say Pochettino and Redknapp and Joel, to see that that doesn't last forever, and you're going to have a downward patch, and we can't let good football blind us to the real problems that we have. Certainly in spending money in recruitment, in backing our managers correctly to ensure that they are consistent in what they're doing and they can deliver success. And I do feel that Stell lost sight of that foolishly. I'm going to add the foolishly bit in there, all right? Because he suddenly changed his expectation from let's have a philosophy, let's start this rebuild process, let's blood in some of these youngsters, let's do the Pochettino process. I'm not going to say Arteta because Arteta basically is copying Pochettino. And he said, "Oh yeah, we can make top 4 now because you know we're playing brilliant." And I you know always was of the opinion that we need to just wait and see what happens.
And he demanded top 4. He said, "No, I expect top 4."
It's true, he did.
Yeah.
So I expect it.
I haven't changed my expectations, just to let you unfoolish individuals know. I fully think Spurs will get top 4 this season. I think we'll do it. I think this is the rough patch and it's going to be very rough. But I think after Man City, things will begin to level off. We'll start picking up points again, getting some wins, and we'll stay there or thereabouts. January, we'll get some players back, some new signings in the window. I think.
Don't you think you'll be too late by then, though? Still,
no.
Like,
I think no,
No.
because
we've got 7. So we've got 7-8 games until January. That this is what. Oh God, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I almost think our season's almost over. If I'm honest with you, that's my gut. That's
so negative. Such a negative.
That's
right.
a
And let me tell you why.
Look, Conte did it, Maz. Conte came in, completely swung it around in it, and it was a bit of a late show. And we got Champions League on the last day of the season.
Okay, so
Yes.
But
I'll tell you why I fear that our season's in a weird way over. Or I'm not expecting much going forward. Is that we've got 7-8 games to accumulate enough points to be in a position to be able to challenge for top 4. And I can't see where our next win is coming from in our current state, and I really believe that. And it's not because that his tactics are wrong, but it's purely because just the players, regardless of how they're playing in the system, are just not good enough.
Look, Romero's back. Michael, go next, because I just want to reply to Maz. I'm the one being called a fool. Yeah, not you. So
now, I never said you're a fool. I said you're being foolish.
A fool is foolish. What kind of politics is this? Welcome to question time. I mean, unbelievable. That's such a Levy move, isn't it? That was such a Levy move. I'm like, I think, look, Basuma's back next game. Romero's back after Manchester City. So that begins to give us a bit more strength. I think over time, players slowly coming back. January window. I think we'll stay in the hunt just about there or thereabouts. If you look at Ange, typically everywhere he goes, it's always a bit like this first season. Round about March, his teams really come to life. And I think you're going to see when we get to that business end, I think we're going to come to life. And all the players will be back by then. Touch wood, no more serious injuries. And I think March, April, May, Spurs are really going to go on a really, really good, successful patch. I think we'll get top 4, even if it's 5th. I've heard 5th might be Champions League this year. When I say top 4, I mean Champions League. I think we'll just get in there. Again, we don't have Europe to worry about, where all the people around us are going to have Europe to worry about. I think we'll do it, Maz. I still believe we're going to get into that top group. And if we do, I want you to come on and admit that you're a fool if we do it.
Where
I will do that.
Where the hell is this rain cloud gone? There's like Mr. Positive here.
JP, it's what I see. Like that performance against Villa. Villa are a brilliant side, man. Like Unai Emery's a brilliant manager.
They didn't look brilliant on the day, though, still, did they?
Our B team tore them to pieces, man. At one point, you're like,
only for half an hour, right? And you can't.
No. The second half was the same way.
Oh,
for a big part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they controlled us a lot more.
Yeah, because we got tired, right? We have no subs to come on, but
so we got tired. So so it wasn't the same.
Can you type in your email for Michael Webb? We could get him on a future show if you could type in the chat.
Hello at tottenhamawa.com. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. So there are like a couple of things I wanted to say about the losses that we had and about the upcoming matches, right? So first of all, for me, if these losses didn't happen in a row, I think the outlook would be much, much different, right? Because if you look at those games in separation, right? Chelsea game was just a freak show, right? Nobody knows what happened there, right? But I mean, we know what happened, but you get the point, right? Wolves, I feel like Wolves. For me, Wolves was our only bad performance this season in the league, and Aston Villa, I feel like we deserved much more from that game. And let's not kid ourselves, Aston Villa are one of the best teams in the league right now, right? They've actually, in the year 2023, they accumulated the second most points in the league, right? I know those are useless stats, right? But just to put it in perspective, I think they are the informed team in the league, right? So for me, even if you lose to City, let's put the City game aside, right? Until the 30th of January, we have 8 games to play in the league, right? And if we are to believe the reports about Van de Ven and Maddison and some other players, most of them should be back by then, right? So we have 8 games to play. And I don't know, boys, how much like Premier League you watch. I know in Britain it's a bit like weird that you don't get the 3 p.m. kickoffs, right? I'm not sure about that, but listen, I'm a jobless student. I watch pretty much every single Premier League match there is to watch, right? I don't know if you've watched much of West Ham, but they are fucking dog shit, right? West Ham, I know they always turn up against us, but they are seriously shit.
But what happened to Wolves when we lost?
But Wolves aren't shit. Wolves aren't shit.
Well this year.
Yeah, but they're not. But they're not exactly lighting the league up as well, right?
Yeah, but trust me, West Ham are garbage, right? They just can't.
Michael Maz. To be fair, the Wolves game was our worst performance of the season. I think that's one game where we can all agree. Actually, we were just shit that day.
Yeah,
we were
that was totally opposite to the Villa game, wasn't it?
We were rubbish, man. We deserved to lose. We deserved to lose.
The problem is we're not finishing our dinner though, right? So how long can we go on and say we played well, but we're not finishing our chances? To where you put it to just not being clinical enough to win the games.
Son will get it right again, right?
Yeah.
He's
Yes,
going
I agree.
Son will get it right again. Kulu 9 times out of 10 he scores that one that hit the post. I mean, I can't believe
99 of 100. I don't get how he didn't score.
I can't believe he missed that on his left foot as well. You're like, how?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, but just to quickly finish my point, right? Then we have Newcastle at home. They are like Newcastle. It's really hard to read them, right? One day they are slapping Chelsea, the other day they are losing to Bournemouth, right? So it's really like hard to read Newcastle. Then we have Forest, Everton, Brighton, who are like, I don't know if you've watched Brighton recently, but they are seriously up and down. Bournemouth, like a mid team. Then there is Manchester United away and Brentford at home. Actually, if you look at it, up until the end of January, our running, it's not like that tragic, in my opinion.
But
I think we will be able to.
Michael,
I'm not saying we are going to win all 8 after City, right? Just let me get that through, right? But I think that we will start picking up points again, right? So it's not like we are going to lose 12 on the spin, right? But if we lose 12 on the spin, then of course, like top 4 is gone, probably Europe is gone, etc., right? But I think we will gather enough points through that gap from now to the end of January that we will be within touching distance. Right? And if we do our
Brighton,
business properly,
Brighton, West Ham, Newcastle, they're only Brighton, West Ham is 6 points behind us. Brighton is 4 points behind us. But Newcastle is 3 points behind us, right? And they're no more consistent than we are consistent. If you look at the last 3-4 games, it's very close. Apart from West Ham have lost just as many games as we have in the last 5 games. Brighton have drawn 3-1-1, lost 1, and Newcastle have won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. Right, so they're not as inconsistent as their performances would show.
But Maz, that's good. But Maz, this is good because the top 8 is tight. As long as it's tight, we're in there. I want it to stay like that.
But my point, I'm not deliberately trying to be negative. All I'm trying to say is that I can't see us putting together the same type of consistency in our first 10 games going forward. I think that's gone now, and I think we're going to see a lot more inconsistency going forward. So the next 7-8 games is crucial, but we're also missing the spine of our team. And Romero on his own coming back is just not good enough, because we've seen that if he hasn't got a partner, he's just not the same defender as what he is when he's got a good partner next to him.
It's still better than Chicken Royale or Davis, man.
I agree. I agree with that.
Basuma is better coming in than Højbjerg or Skip.
Yeah, and again, I agree with that. But I just think we need to. I just don't see how we're going to pick up form at the moment. We may draw a few games, we may win a few, but I don't think we're going to win.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
My point is that I think we will. I think we will win against West Ham. I think we'll win against Everton at home. I think we have a big chance at winning Bournemouth at home, Brentford at home. I think like Brentford have 13 injuries, right? They have something like 8 first-team injuries, right? I think Newcastle have like 13 injuries in their squad, right? Brighton have like 12. It's not only us that are up and down, right? My point is that excluding like Villa, who are pretty much all of them are fit, right? Which is absolutely mad considering they also play in Europe, right? I think excluding Villa, even City are decimated with injuries, right? And I'm not saying that City will like tear us to pieces, right? But I feel like we are saying that we are up and down, and many teams are up and down, but we kind of like expect those up and down teams to be up when we play them, and we expect us to be down, right? But it might as well be us being up and them being down, and we might smash someone, right? Because we magically just finish our chances and they will have an off day, right? So for me, all I want to say is that I think we can survive this period until Maddison, Van de Ven, and a couple of other players come back without losing, 10 out of next.
But they're not coming back until February, right?
I think one thing
Madison and Van de Ven is middle of January, apparently.
Yeah,
right?
okay, but they've assuming that they come back and they go straight in the team, but
It probably will be slowly like
right. But
integrated.
the problem we've got is that we've got the African AFCON,
Yeah, I was just
and
going to
Son
say
is
that. I was
going
just
as
going to
well.
say that, man.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that, but obviously be aware that the fact that at the start of Jan we lose Son, Papasar, and Basuma to those cups.
Right. Yeah. So there's no games for the first 2 weeks of Jan. So the board, the owners need to bring in the new signings early January, like Ange just said. Right. This is otherwise. This is all on the board, even more than what it already is. It's that simple. If we amateurs on YouTube, just fans, if we can see and talk about it, 100% they know. 100% Ange and his team have told the owners. Get your signings lined up, like we spoke about earlier. 1st of January to the 7th, 8th, 10th of January. 1, 2, 3, done.
Yeah,
Give Ange what he needs.
Center back, midfielder, and forward.
Whatever Ange needs, whatever he asks for, whatever 2 or 3 players he wants, just do it.
But if you look at it, right, we play.
If they don't, then it's leave you out. Protest. We go again. Purple and gold. Balloons on the pitch. Toxic social media.
Bournemouth.
Everyone's a piece of shit. Let's go.
Let's go.
We play.
You've done it before. Do it again.
We play Bournemouth on 31st of December, right? And then it's literally 2 weeks until we play United away. We play them on 14th of January, right? So if we are, like, I'm not saying if we are serious about it as in we are serious about winning something, but if they actually want to support Ange, right? And if they actually want to do something for him to survive this period, right? Then like a midfielder should be there before we play United, right? That's
Michael.
Yeah,
the thing is, though,
that's the doubt with Levy, right?
Michael, the thing is, though, and I guess it's not just to you, but everyone, we lose Son, and he's the only one who can score.
Well, we haven't seen Veliz yet. He's had 8 minutes against Villa, and I think it was 9 minutes.
You don't want the kids playing. You keep saying every time I want the kids playing. You don't want the kids playing. You've gone. You've reneged on your.
No, I never said that. I said Ange doesn't trust them. Otherwise, he would have played them.
Well, there you go.
I'm gonna say something, and I don't believe I'm saying that right. But Richarlison will be back by then, so I guess he's there to be used.
I will.
What makes it worse, man?
Yeah, I know. He's an option, right?
I forgot all about it. You know what? I'm not sure about top 4.
You see what I mean?
I forgot about Richarlison.
That's it. The real star's back now.
He
had half an hour of optimism. Now he's back.
Richarlison. Oh my god!
If the board was serious,
So nice.
if the board was serious, they put their money where their mouth is, right? All these rumors about Jimenez of Feyenoord, right? Jimenez, which my fiance will love because he's Argentinian Mexican. Her being Mexican, coming to Spurs. Feyenoord won't be able to qualify to. Feyenoord will not qualify to the round of 16 Champions League. So now, right, is the chance to, if you're serious, go get this guy. This guy has scored goals. The only one that scored more than 29 goals in that league was Luis Suarez, and he's not too shabby, right? Luis Suarez. To get him, so we can eventually maybe move Son back to the left, because the myth was Son wasn't created there. He was. It's just that he was passing to a guy that couldn't finish his dinner in Richarlison, right? If we could do that, then we mean business. Joe Mario's too old. He's 30. I doubt we will go for Joe Mario at his age. But I think he's 30 years old. He doesn't fit the Tottenham way. But
also like João Mario had a good game today, and suddenly everyone will start raving about him, right? That's what I like. I know you boys mentioned it a lot, right? Like right now, like football fan bases, they are so reactionary, right? For me, like Højlund, like has good potential on FIFA and scored 9 goals for Atalanta, and suddenly he's one of the best talents in Europe, right? Ferguson scored a hat-trick against Newcastle, and suddenly he is, the next Harry Kane. João Mario scored a hat-trick today, and everyone wants him in his team, even though he's 30, right? I feel like people need to calm down with those predictions and with like saying that what we need right now is João Mario from Benfica, a 30-year-old striker who just happened to score a hat-trick against Inter, right? Like, what do you fucking do? Like, okay, he did, and he might disappear for the next 8 games, right? That gives Orban guy that we've been looking at, who, by the way, who buried one of the Polish teams that was trying to qualify for the Conference League, right? Which, like, I remember that. But he buried one of the teams, right? He disappeared off the face of the earth, right? Like, the guy was scoring like a shitload of goals, like a goal every 40 minutes, next talent, who would he do? Like, we have to get him. He's so good. I even got caught. Like, I even wanted the guy, right? If Ange wanted him, I wanted him, right? But he just disappeared now. And maybe it's a good thing that we didn't go for him, right?
Yeah.
It's like football scouting is, for me, really like getting data and putting it together and finding a guy who does well is one thing, right? But then you have to do your due diligence on the player, right? So
if you look at what our team's going to look like, though, come January, assuming that Maddison comes back and he goes into the team, it's going to be effectively Udogie, Romero, let's just say
Porro.
Davies, Porro. The midfield will be Højbjerg, Lo Celso if he's fit, or Skip, and maybe Maddison if he's back, right? And then the front three will be Kulu, Richarlison, and Johnson.
Hill, maybe, right? Kulu,
and maybe Hill, right?
Johnson.
And
Johnson plays up top for Wales, I guess.
I just think the spine of the team is just too weak. That's my fear.
Yeah, but that also fits to my point that we only play 2 games in January, right? So
Yeah.
when January ends, like I know we have an FA Cup tie, right? In the I think the first round that we play in is in January, and then if we qualify, then the next round is also in January, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it can be up to 4 games, but usually, like, of course, knowing our luck, we'll probably get like fucking Chelsea away or something, right? In the first round of the FA Cup, but usually the higher probability is that we will play against, I don't know, Cheltenham or I don't know, Bristol City or Sheffield Wednesday or someone, right? I think we can handle January, and at the end of January, when AFCON finishes and the Asia Cup finishes, and we get our injuries back, I just have a feeling we can survive till then without like absolutely losing our shit. And when our players come back, when we hopefully support Ange in January, I feel like we can, as Stelios said, we can kick on from then, right? Because if this team just pulls their shit together, I feel like from January up until April we don't play a top 6 side, right? So there is a possibility of gathering points from that point to until that like dreaded run at the end of the season. And again, I'm not even saying we are going to qualify top four, right? I don't really care. I don't need top 4 and Champions League next season. I actually would be okay with us qualifying for Europa League or Conference League. I like those competitions, and I think we have a genuine like a chance of winning those competitions, right? Whereas even if you qualify to Champions League, I know it's about the money, it's about more transfer budget, TV rights, whatever. It's much more money for a team to qualify to Champions League, right? But if we qualify to this season, if we qualify for the Champions League, we aren't doing anything in the Champions League next season. The squad will still be too weak, right? But in Europa League and Conference League, I actually feel like we can enjoy ourselves there, especially playing this style of football. So I don't think it's as bad as it looks. And listen, like we might get smashed at City, then lose to West Ham and lose to Newcastle, and maybe I will talk a different.
Can I just say about Man City, right? I fully expect us to lose 4-0, something stupid. I fully expect that, but I'm telling you, it's worth putting £5 on Spurs to win 2-1 because that's exactly the kind of stupidity that I would expect.
That happens. That happens,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Not only in the Premier League, but do you know? Was it a couple of weeks ago? A few people on our show were saying, "Would it be just typical? We lose to Chelsea and kickstart their season when we're supposed to beat them. Then we lose to Wolves. Then we lose to Aston Villa, and then we go and beat City. Wouldn't it be typical if that just happens? Do you know something? That's exactly the way it's gone so far. That's exactly the way it's gone so far. But like I said, I expect us to lose 4.
The only thing that's not sticking is Chelsea shut themselves again after 2 matches, right? We kickstarted their season for 2 matches and then they reverted back to
normal, yeah.
Back to Fulham Academy stuff, right?
So let's get to the predictions. It's last part of the show. City Spurs. We all know there's a possibility it could be Davies and Royale or Davies and Dyer against that monster Holland against Julian Alvarez. I mean, we know the usual suspects. And part of me,
Doku against Porro, man.
Who schooled Trent Arnold the other day, and so my thing is it can either be 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, or it can be what Stell says. Stranger things have happened, right? All week you're being told you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to get pumped. You're going to get pumped. And sometimes the players rise to the occasion. So we'll start with JP because he's on the road. Your predictions for Man City Spurs.
I can never feel that I can say that Tottenham will lose a game, right? But your head and everything points to us getting pumped. But the positives are we got Udogie back. The positives are
well, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'd be so
give me some positives. Somebody in the chat, give me some positives, man.
How do we beat Man City? Well, we've got Udogie back.
3-0. 3-0. 3-0 City.
Udogie went 1-on-1 with the goalie and smashed it into the top tier of the North Stand against Aston Villa.
Well, hopefully he'll be put on bloody shooting duty this week, as will the rest of the team, right? Because they had enough chances. If we get chances against City, we all know that's a team you got to take your chances against, right? They've fluffed enough lines so far. If they can make any of those chances count, if we can make those chances count, problem is I can't see us not letting in at least 2 goals. At least 2 goals. I don't think Ange will drop back. I don't think he'll try and be defensive or anything like that. I think I said the other day, right? At the end of the day, he wants to embed this style. We all wanted to see a philosophy. We all know the players are not up to it. He knows the players are not up to it. And if he has to, that's his view of saying to the board, you want pretty football? That's why you brought me here. This is the pretty football. But you need to get me the proper pieces to go into this that puzzle. With these people, I can't do it. Should he revert back to anything negative, or not necessarily negative, but more defensive? Personally, I feel no, because at the end of the day, that's the style he wants to embed in the players that he also wants to keep. So irrespective of if there are your Dyers and your Davises playing, the other players also need to know what to do in positions, what to do when situations happen. And if he reverts back and then changes it when a couple come back and then reverts back if you get another injury and stuff, it's not really consistency that he's going to embed into those players, right? So I feel he'll play the way he plays. He'll play the style and whatever way he wants to play going forward. To have that philosophy, moving towards the ultimate goal of having, ideally, we all say, do you know what? That all of those need to be turned around like efficiently. Until we get to that, whether that's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, if he's given that amount of time, he has to kind of like these are the games he has to go through, right? At some stage also, and this is pretty early enough in the season for him to also say, I've seen it on TV, I've watched Man City, how they play. We know that they're treble winners, but my team are like here compared to them. That allows him to kind of like give him a good gauge, right? I'm sure he knows anyway, but literally he can see it.
JP, what's your prediction?
3-0.
Spurs or City?
It's not even a question.
JP normally predicts us to win. That's why.
No. I think we'll get beaten 3-0, right? But I think we'll play our socks off. As much as I want us to do it, I can't. The problem is, still, I can't see if we saw how many times they got Aston Villa got behind Porro the other day.
JP, you don't have to convince me. I predicted 2-1 loss to Wolves and 2-1 loss. I predicted 2 losses in a row already.
I can see Doku running amok on that side. Then you've got David Silva as well. And I'm not even going to mention Haaland. So it's going to be difficult us not letting goals in, but I say 3-0. But with a good performance.
Good performance. It's another Villa. Put in a good effort, but this time we lose by more. Maz?
I can't. Erling Haaland versus Emerson Royale and Davies. I mean, that they literally like go up to his waist in height.
We have to cut off the supply, though, right, Maz?
His legs, you mean?
Everyone else's.
like, I just can't see how we can cope with our back four
for one game. Can we just loan Matt Cash for one game and just say, can you tackle?
Yeah, please take him out. And I hate to say this, and still you're going to love this, but we might have to turn to Eric Dyer because what are we going to do? I mean,
oh my god!
I think he will play. I think
but I'm serious. Look, put your coach's hat on. What would you do? How would you defend against him?
Dude, Dyer can't run. He can't.
Yeah, but
run.
Emerson can't head, and neither can Davies.
Yeah, but how many goals did Man City score from headers? It's mainly on the floor shots, right? They're not really.
Yeah, and there's that. Can you imagine them in a foot race between Davies, Emerson, Royale, and Haaland?
Rodri.
I think City has the most set piece goals in the league.
I don't know. I just think we need
whatever we do.
I can't see.
I think we're fine, but
yeah, I can't see how it's gonna. Even if we play our very best, how we can stop them.
Okay, Maz, what's your prediction then? What high score are you going to put?
4-1 to Spurs.
Can you imagine?
I think it will be. I think it'll be 3-0 to City. I don't think we'll score
another 3-0. Oh my god, Michael.
I have no fucking clue, man. Like, it's just no, it's.
Honestly,
this game's gonna have drama.
Tell me how we're gonna stop Erling Haaland. Go on, tell me. I want to know.
We won't.
Listen.
Cut his legs off.
This game is gonna have. If you thought Chelsea had drama, I think this one's gonna have bare drama. I've just got that feeling. It's gonna be one to remember. This is gonna be classics, Premier League classics. This one.
You know, I have two scenarios. I have two scenarios in my head, and I know, like, I will decide.
4-0 or 5-0? Two scenarios: 4-0 or 5-0.
One scenario is, one scenario is like 2-0 or 3-0, just like you boys predicted, right? And the other one is something like crazy will happen. I think this game has like something like absolutely outrageous written all over it, and I think like 6-3 to City or something like that, right? I wouldn't be surprised if this game ended that way, because City haven't been like the most clinical in terms of defending, right? But we have Davis, Emerson, or Dyer in the defense, right? So I just feel like we'll get absolutely torn to pieces defensively, and I feel like they will have a field day. I'm honestly considering triple captaining Haaland on FPL. I will think about it more, right? But no, I will probably wait for a double game week. But still, Haaland is a definite captain in the fantasy if you guys play. But yeah, that's. I feel like either 3-0 or 6-3, something stupid like this. I know it sounds mad that we would score 3, but listen, this dogshit Man United scored 3 at the Etihad, so I guess we can do it, right? the goal difference will be 3. Let me put it that way.
But dogshit Man United didn't play 4 wing backs as their defence.
All the Arsenal fans are in the chat are predicting us to win. I wonder why. I wonder why.
Arsenal fans tonight have been the biggest frauds, man. The flip-flopping is unreal. Listen, I'm going to say it. I just want to be clipped. You can clip me. I think no. I think it's going to be one of those ridiculous
Don't do it.
You know, the thing is, right? Every time that's it. We're fucked. We're gonna something at some point has
pull it
to
out of the
change.
bag.
Whether it's VAR, whether it's a refereeing decision made, whether it's a red card. Do you know what? I'm going to go 2-2. I think it's going to be wild. I'm not. 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2. It's one. Yeah, I agree with Ronnie. I'm not saying we'll deserve it. In fact, I think we might. It's either that or 5-0, by the way. I'm 2-2 or 5-0.
Nah, you got to pick one, man. You can't go 2 results.
Yeah, you always rinse everyone.
Desmond,
no, you're right. I'm gonna go 2-2, man. I just think we are going to go at them, right? We know we're going to go at them. We know we're going to just give it a go. And I just don't think City are used to teams doing that to them. And maybe we'll just catch them a bit cold. They've played midweek. They had a tough game. They had to come back from 2-0 down midweek. We're going into the game a bit more energetic. But they'll get back into it. And they probably will deserve to win it in the end, but we'll just somehow grab a 2-2 out of it. It's a Spursy thing to do.
Big up,
Gene.
Big up. Evening.
We're about to wrap up the show.
We're about to end the show. We have a 2-hour max, and we've been doing good as a channel the last 2 weeks. We're trying to
come on tomorrow's show. North London is ours. Come on, North London is ours.
Tomorrow. G-Chain, tomorrow. North London is ours. Tomorrow's topic is also going to be trust the process, but it's going to be Arsenal and Tottenham. So we'll get you on tomorrow, G-Chain. I'll send you the link. Thank you for the super chat. And also thank you to Matt for the super chat. Thank you.
Can I just say, right, this sums up Arsenal fans for me, right? As a Gooner, I hope City smash Spurs. If you want to win the league, you should be praying we beat Man City. This is what I mean. This is what I mean.
And I hope it's that 3 points. I hope it's that 3 points that Man City win the league with.
Do you know what? I hope now we lose 5-0 just so Robert doesn't get what he...
By the way, if this game was at our ground 1-0 Spurs, that would have been my prediction, but unfortunately it was.
So
yeah, do you know what?
We saved the best for last. I think the guys are really gonna fight, and they're going to. That soccer song. Soccer's been found out. Don't let him out.
You're in the mud, Maury. You know that. You're in the mud.
I know we're getting tomorrow.
I think
we're gonna fight. we're gonna show that same. We're gonna come at them, and we're gonna. I mean, it's gonna be similar to the first 30 minutes against the Villa, and so my prediction is 5-1 City. I ain't crazy, man. We're going to get Oscar. 5-1. 5-1 City.
Listen, one minute, right, guys. You know what? Nobody's battered us this year. No, okay, Chelsea, but we're down to 9 men. Nobody's battered us with 11 men. Nobody, right?
Until Sunday.
You know, I don't think so. I don't think so. Look, what we're going to do? We're going to go with Son, Brian Hill, Brennan, Kulu, Lo Celso, Bissouma, Udogie, Porro, Vicario. The centre backs we don't know, right? Let's just see what he does. But that's not the worst team in the world to be taken up there. It's not horrendous. There's no subs.
Yeah, but
we need to make a sub.
But
to
be playing against.
I know you're right. You're right.
Doku,
but Aston Villa aren't any mugs. They're not mugs.
No, but the problem isn't the rest of the team. It's the two centre backs. That's the problem. Because as soon as they're pinning us back and they're knocking the ball around and Foden's threading balls through and Haaland's, on the shoulder of Davies and Emerson, what are they going to do?
Davies and Dyer are going to be dizzy after that game.
Hornberg is going to be spinning. He's going to be singing, I'm spinning round, like a merry-go-round. Hornberg is going to get spunked by that midfield.
Do you know what? Listen, listen. City give away chances. I've seen it this season, right? Teams that actually unsettle them, they do give up chances. We will create chances. We create chances every game we play. We'll create chances. If we take them, we will rattle them. We've got to take the chances. I know that's a cliche, but
agreed. No, I agree.
We have to.
Not play, right?
If we're clinical, then we've got a chance.
Game on.
Højbjerg might not play, by the way, because it's Bissouma will come in for Bentancur, and if we do the Kulusevski in the midfield again, then it's most likely Bissouma. No, Bissouma Lo Celso, right?
He's got to go with the same team. He's got to go with the same team, right?
Pape Sarr might be out till Christmas now.
Yeah. Till Christmas? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh.
Yay!
We're losing. I'm adding 7-1. Skip is playing. We're losing 7-1.
No. Skip's just misunderstood Mari.
For me,
isn't he? Isn't he still? Skip is misunderstood.
As long as City don't break the record.
He's not in the right position.
Now he's got a piece of paper, notes. What can I get Stelios with? 1, 2. What can I get?
By the way, as long as City don't break the record, I'm fine with what's ever coming, right? The record is 9-0, by the way. 9-0, right? So as long as we don't concede 10, I'm fine with it.
Listen, Sheffield United.
It's not going to be that bad.
They only just beat Sheffield United 2-1, right? And Sheffield United are rubbish. So I don't think Stel Tom.
I mean, they also smoked Bournemouth 6-1 and Fulham 5.
That's not what I said. G changed the specialist at being disingenuous with the narrative. I said to you, and I saved the WhatsApp this time because I know what you like. I said, if Spurs stay in the top 4 race come January, and we back Ange, we are 100% dark horses. But we're not going to stay in the top 4 race because of the injuries, right? So that's why I said if.
Oh, man. I would go off with this question, but no one else has a channel here. But where can we find you next, Michael? I assume the Tottenham away post-game fan chat, which will be not too joyous.
I'm hopping around the channels, right? I'm a visitor here, and we are Tottenham TV. Ashmatic hit me up yesterday on WhatsApp, but I couldn't join his show. So I'm just appearing here and there, giving my fraudulent opinions. So yeah, Like,
I want Mike on the watch along. Mike, you better be on that watch along.
Yeah.
oh gosh, I don't know. You know, I tend to. I'm really weird when I watch like matches because I usually sit in silence. So I'm just watching. No emotions, and suddenly when something stupid happens, I just burst for like 30 seconds, and then calm down again. My girlfriend really hates watching matches with me because I actually like scare her when I react to stuff, right? Because there is silence, nothing's happening, and suddenly I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, you were waking the neighbours up. You were waking the neighbours up last time, weren't you?
I don't think it was me because like most matches are. Oh no, yeah, there was. Oh Jesus, there was something about like my neighbors knocking on my door because I was.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think me and Iggy watched a game with, but I don't remember against who. And my neighbor knocked on the door because I was too loud, apparently. But, like whatever. Maybe I should come on just to bring the entertainment of swearing in Polish. I can do that, guys. I can do that for you guys.
Yeah, do what you want. It's Tottenham away. Everyone does what they want. we haven't lost the channel in a while. Would you want? Would you?
Well, guys, Maz, we usually have you on Mondays, and JP. Well, no, you won't be at the stadium unless you go to the city. You'll be on the watch along. We have the watch along. That's going to be
Man City, man. I'm hiding for a week.
Nah, man. Okay. Listen, Spurs are going to turn up. We're going to give it a go.
Tomorrow,
I think it's going to be a good game, but I think we'll just get pointed out and abused.
It'll be one of those games where we play well and they'll end up winning by 2 goals or something like that, and you just chalk it off, move on.
Yeah. Tomorrow is North London's hours. Topic is going to be trust the process. Is Arsenal trusting the process of them possibly winning the league? They're top of the league right now, and they just had an impressive, I know it's lens, but 6 goals is 6 goals. And then we'll have more talk about where we're at as a club, trusting Ange and growing in the process. So that'll be tomorrow. Is there a Friday show, Premier League preview show Friday?
No, not doing one this week. Not doing one this week.
So there is none on Friday, and then Sunday is the big game. We will have the watch along, the post game, Will's show at night, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting. I always do. I always have it on.
He lives in Miami. He has to
Orlando, but yeah, you got to.
Oh yeah, sorry, who's from Miami? Oh, Dan, English, fake British Dan. He's from
fake British. Well, on that note, we are out. Come on, you Spurs.